Welcome to another edition of News Bite here on Daily World Television. My name is Kal Korff. I'm your host. Communist China has sent yet another warning to the United States, specifically directed at President-elect Donald Trump. Donald Trump, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, has reiterated his position that the so-called One China policy is not binding, that things can be negotiated. Now let me explain what is meant by the term One China. Taiwan, according to the communists who oppress their people in China, who rule that government and have since the end of World War II, they claim that Taiwan is part of China. The reason they say this is because the previous rulers of China, before they were ousted by Mao Zedong and his communists, escaped out of China into Taiwan, and they were never captured, although the Communist Chinese wanted to capture them, parade them before kangaroo courts, and execute them publicly to set an example for the people. Ever since then, China has claimed that Taiwan belongs to China. Under what is arguably cowardly world leadership by Jimmy Carter, who, I remind everybody, served only one term in office because he was a failed leader, foreign policy-wise. We must remember that when Jimmy Carter was president, Islamic militants stormed the U.S. Embassy, took 52 Americans hostage, and held them for 444 days. They were only released when Ronald Reagan was being sworn in to replace Jimmy Carter. And Ronald Reagan won the election against Carter in one of the biggest landslides in the history of American elections. There was also the invasion of Afghanistan by the former Soviet Union, which happened on Jimmy Carter's watch, as well as the fall of the Shah of Iran, an individual that Jimmy Carter had helped prop up for years, even though he was very aware of the Shah's failed human rights record and the fact that torture was the rule of the day under the Shah of Iran's regime. So Jimmy Carter is not regarded very well or highly foreign policy-wise. However, to be fair to him, the one bright spot in his record was the fact that he helped broker the peace agreement between Israel and Egypt, which was a big deal. But if Israel and Egypt did not seek peace to begin with, Carter would never have succeeded in it. So instead, they had Carter be the middleman, and Carter claimed most of the credit for it, even though he doesn't deserve it. The real credit belongs to Egypt, Anwar Sadat at that time, and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin. So, getting back to the issue of China. China has said that the One China policy is not negotiable. That puts them on a direct collision course against incoming President Donald Trump. The world will have to wait and see as both sides flex their muscle and see what happens. It might be that Trump is taking this hardline position to try to soften up China to back off on its aggressive and illegal antics in the South China or South Asian seas. We'll see what happens. It is not a coincidence that the current president of Taiwan called Trump to congratulate him on his victory. That call upset China, which is too bad. But the groundwork, if you will, or the course has been laid for an inevitable showdown. It is unlikely that either China or the United States will back down from this issue. We'll see what happens. So China, once again, has made yet another threat. A few days ago, they made a threat of war against the United States. And while no one is taking that seriously, the Communist Chinese are serious about trying to hold on to Taiwan to the point that they might militarily invade it. And the question then becomes, will the United States come to Taiwan's defense? We have an agreement with them, the United States does, so that they're supposed to defend Taiwan. It's going to be sorely tested as far as where the conviction is concerned in enforcing that agreement.